Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. And in last episode, we finally won a Stanley Cup. I mean, it's only year 2, but it definitely felt like a long time coming for this team. Obviously, in real life, they have not won a Stanley Cup yet, but for us, we managed to find ourselves with a nice 7-game victory over the Florida Panthers. And in general, we had a really solid playoff run to win the Stanley Cup. As you can see in the first round, going to 7 games with Minnesota, winning in overtime to keep our season alive. And then we had an easy time with a very good Colorado team where we took them out in 4 games. Then we took out Vegas, which was another big task, and we took them out in 5 games after losing the first game in overtime. So we had a very good run up to the Cup Finals. The Cup Finals, we lose the first game again, and then we win 3 straight, and I'm like, hey, we should probably have this cup in the bag. But then we dropped 2 games, and at that point, I was thinking we were going to lose in 7 games, but game 7, we scored 6 goals and managed to hold them off a little bit in that game and win 6-4 and capture our first Stanley Cup. So very proud of this team, especially a couple of guys on the team that really performed well, which I will show you guys right now before we get to the comments, because there was some really good players in this playoff run. There was some players that were a little bit quiet, but the most notable on offense obviously was Kyle Connor with 22 goals and 36 points. He led our forward crew by quite a giant margin, and we managed to win the cup because of him mostly. He also had, I think, like a couple hat tricks in the playoffs, like at least 3 maybe, which is kind of nuts. We also had good performances though from like Scheifele, Barabanov helped out a lot, Ehlers, and then like the depth scoring even with like Chinnikov helped out a lot. But after that, kind of a little bit more average in terms of players picking up points, but still pretty good. And then also, I think the addition of some good defensemen helped out this team quite a bit too, because Jan Ruda was absolutely outrageous. Plus 17 and 10 points in the playoffs for him. Heinola was okay as well, but then you have like guys like Chris Tanev and Nick Hague, I think, who helped us out defensively a bit. And also, I could say Matt Roy maybe a bit too, even though he was technically our worst defender. And also the goaltending from Connor Hellebuyck was really inconsistent at times, but also really good at times, and he also definitely helped us win that Stanley Cup win. So there is that. But anyways, before we get into this offseason and figuring out what this team is going to go through next, let's get to some comments and see what you guys have to say. So the first one is from Souls, who says, never seen a goalie as hot and cold as Hellebuyck, lol. What a postseason by Connor. And yeah, Hellebuyck was definitely very inconsistent at times. Like there was series where he was very locked in, like against Colorado and against Vegas. But then against Florida, he definitely had a little bit of a tougher time. And then also, I think he had a tough time in the first round, if I remember right, too. So 2 out of 4 good series, but he managed to get us that cup, so that's all good. Didn't pick up a single shutout in the playoffs, which is interesting. The next comment is from Michael Dose, who just says, congratulations on the cup. I appreciate that. Hopefully we could get more than 1 cup in this series, because I know in my Chicago series I won 1 cup and that was it. So hopefully this is not the last time you see this team on top of the NHL. The next comment is from Sano Otaku, who says, Jan Ruda won the Conn Smythe of our hearts. I say try and contend for at least 1 more year. To do so, it's time to move on from Ehlers, Iafallo, Appleton, and then re-sign Barabanov and Ruda. Tanev also, if you could get him for less than what he made last season. See what Hague wants on a longer-term deal. Qualify Velarde and Kupari. Release Barron. And a couple of the young guys should be able to crack the lineup as 4th liners. And yeah, I think they will probably go exactly with your plan, just because I honestly don't have a plan of my own. I don't really know exactly who I wanted to get rid of and all that stuff, but I think I'll probably do what you're thinking, because even though Ehlers is a great player to have on this team, I just don't think it's worth giving another guy an 8x8 right now. So if we want to, we could bring him back potentially in the offseason, but right now I just don't think it's worth it for this team giving him an 8x8, because that would sacrifice our depth quite a bit. He was also saying probably to let go of guys like, who was it? Like Iafallo, for example, which also kind of makes sense, because Iafallo didn't really do much in the playoffs. He's also a guy that should be on decline soon, I guess. And then he was also saying not to bring back Appleton, which, interestingly enough, Appleton doesn't really want a lot as an extension. So he's still like a serviceable 3rd liner. So if he was asking for this, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. But at the same time, he is 29 years old. So we might want to just kind of find a way to inject some of our younger players into our lineup instead. So we probably will end up letting him go. And then the last and final comment is from Dylan Burrows, who says, I'd say try and repeat. Keep as many as you can, only if it's for 1 year. If they don't do well, then rebuild. And yeah, I think that's probably the best course of action. Try and go for another Stanley Cup, and if for some reason the team doesn't do well, then we could always start to blow it up a little bit. But I definitely think we're going to probably let go of the players that Sandro Otaku was mentioning and try and bringing back the guys that he was mentioning about bringing back. So let's get to this offseason and see what we're able to do. Hopefully we're able to draft well. I don't really know too much about this draft class. I don't think I even looked at the draft class, so it should be interesting to see what the draft class is looking like for us, because we obviously haven't done draft interviews and all that stuff yet, because I decided to leave this lottery spot in retirements till this episode, just because I didn't want the last episode being over an hour long. So Vancouver has won the draft lottery, jumping from 8 to 1. You also have Buffalo dropping from 1 to 2, and San Jose going from 2 to 3. And yeah, we don't have any picks obviously in those areas because we didn't make a trade for an early pick. We should be getting into the retirements now. Did we lose anybody to retirement? Did we lose anybody to retirement? Let's just go by each position here. Scroll through this, see if there's any Winnipeg Jets players, which right now doesn't look like it. Not a huge retirement class by any standard. I'm just curious on guys like Jan Ruda especially, I think. If he's going to retire or not. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody on our team retired, which is good. We will probably be suffering retirement soon if we don't move on from players. So there is the retirement class. The best player is basically on LTIR in real life. Same with all these guys are LTIR almost that are retiring, which is really interesting. Okay. So there is the retirement class for year number 2. In terms of coaches, did we lose any coaches? Let's see. I don't think so. No, we did not lose a single coach. That's good. And Trevor Lewis is now a scout apparently. Okay. Let's go to draft interviews and see if we could find anything. I think we have the last pick in this first round, right? So let's see if there's anybody worth interviewing, because I don't usually utilize interviews too much, but we'll try and see if we could see if there's anybody good here that's worth trying to take. So somewhere around this stage we're looking for. Dennis Cam actually looks really good. A lot of B statistics right now, maybe. Yeah, let's interview this guy, find out more about, does he have his ETA guaranteed? Yeah, he does. He's probably just a generic top 6, but he's looking pretty solid as one. I don't know if I could really find out much more on him, to be honest, though. I'm still going to pin him anyways, because he might end up being our pick. Bakhanov looks okay as well, maybe. This guy's at 2-year ETA. That's intriguing. Ooh. Do I want to try and move up in the draft a little bit if this guy's going to go a little bit earlier than our spot? Because being 2 years out makes me feel like he's more of a low elite than a than a top 6. But he doesn't look as good though on paper as Cam does, maybe. But the 2-year ETA is intriguing. What else we got here? Cam Clements. Interesting. It's kind of funny that there's a Dennis Cam and then there's a Cam Clements. Kim Modine. Oh yeah, there was that guy that I think I was looking at potentially. We don't know his ETA for sure, so let's interview this guy. Because might as well. It'd be nice to get some good offensive, defensive prospects. So let's try and find out his play style and how close he is to NHL ready. Because I don't know what type of defenseman he actually is at this stage. He's a 2-way defenseman. Okay, that's not bad still. His ETA probably 3 years at least, my guess. Any other topics we could? I guess we could just ask him for his strength. Just because I want to kind of find out a little bit about him a bit more. So his greatest strength, what is it? Probably his shot power or something? His skating. Always seems like it's skating. Like, I feel like this conversation system needs a lot of work to it. It's not very fleshed out. Okay, so there is Modine. Let's see. Those attributes, I don't know if they look really that good, to be honest. I would prefer probably Cam at this rate. Matthew Schaefer. Some of these defenders look pretty average. Like, they might honestly be top 6 defensemen. But they also might be top 4s with a low overall. Because this is a top 4 with a 4-year ETA. Usually they have 3-year ETAs. Okay, I think Cam's going to be our early pick. Is there any guys that are supposed to go late in the draft that are intriguing? A lot of medium elites here, but some of them are early picks, obviously. And then there's Dag as well as early. Yeah, none of those guys I'm going to be able to get. Is there any low elites? Not guaranteed. We could interview Kaliko, though. Kaliko is supposed to go mid-second round, which we don't have a pick till late second round, so we probably won't be able to grab him anyways, though. Having a 3-year ETA is probably just a top 6. Could be a low lead as well. Would it be worth moving up in the second round? Potentially, but I honestly don't know how good these guys are for sure. I feel like this is not going to be a good draft class based on how good some of these prospects look. So, you know what? We're just going to hop into it and take random shots in the darks on some pick, and hopefully we get some good prospects. It's not the end of the world if we don't, because obviously once we get into more rebuilding territory, we're going to have more earlier picks, and that should be where we actually start to draft well and have it as our main focus. Because right now, we're looking at trying to win a second cup, and if we don't win a second cup, then obviously rebuilding is the route we go. Okay, so Vancouver, Buffalo, San Jose, Arizona, and LA. We aren't picking till last, likely, right? Since we still have our own pick, yep. Okay. The only time I'm okay with having the last pick in the first round after a cup win. Okay, let's see the top 5 of this year's draft. So Vancouver is going to take Palin, who's only a 79. Yeah, this might be a weak draft class based on that. Because when you see like 82, 83 overalls going first overall, it's a good sign. But a 79 overall DFT going first, yeah, this might be one of the weakest classes we've seen yet. It might be. Let's see what Buffalo grabs at 2. Yeah, it's definitely a weak class. They grab Verrata, which is interesting because I think of Vaclav Verrata, who used to play for the Buffalo Sabres. He's only got Make It Snappy right now. His shooting categories aren't even like as insane as some players we've seen in drafts where they have like 91s and stuff. This guy's only got 88, 89s. So yeah, this class I think is probably going to be pretty bad, which means we are probably going to not get much. Kavapil goes to San Jose. He's a 76. Yeah, this draft class is pretty bad because these guys aren't even really NHL bound. They're probably more AHL bound. Palin's just barely a top 6 defenseman, so I honestly don't think we're going to get a really good player in this draft, but let's hope that we do. Roger McQueen goes. He's a real player. Going to Arizona. I think Kavapil is also real. Verrata and Palin, I don't know if they are. I don't think they are. I could be wrong. So there's McQueen. There's Michael Misa going. We know Michael Misa obviously from all the other franchise modes I've done in the last few years. Yeah, he's pretty good, but obviously this is a little bit of a weaker class. It seems weird that we're only in year 2 in this series because I feel like I've been in this series now for like multiple seasons, but maybe it's just because of my Halifax years. But there's your top 5. Let's sim to our pick at 32 and see what we could get. Plekhanov was a top 6. Alto was a medium elite goalie, okay. And yeah, you have like top 6 defenders going in at the first round, medium top 9s in the first round too. Yeah, this is not going to be a good draft class. Like Cam might honestly not even be a top 6, but I hope that he is. And then our other picks are probably going to be all really not that good. But Dennis Cam is going to be our pick. Based on what we think right now, he looks like he's going to be pretty balanced with just a little bit of a low physical attributes, which makes sense considering he's a smaller guy. So Dennis Cam, welcome to Winnipeg. And of course I have to go back to the last round, which is kind of annoying. I thought they said that they fixed that where it doesn't go immediately to the next round, but I don't think they did. He is a top 6, a 2-way forward, which is not really what I was expecting. But he looks okay, pretty damn balanced like we were looking at. His faceoffs need some work as a center, but like I mean, in general, he doesn't have really a set weakness other than like his physical attributes, I guess. His aggressiveness, his body checking is down in the low 70s. But then you have like a shooting, which is all like almost the 80 range, which is close to accurate. Yeah, not bad. I like this guy. I think he could develop into being something. Obviously, he could not as well. Some late round picks don't, but I don't mind that pick at all. Okay, let's sim to our next pick at 64. At this point, I don't even know what we're going to draft, because there's medium top 9s. There might be a medium elite defenseman here, but I really doubt it. No weakness is nice. Leadership abilities nice. Size and strength. Why does it say both of them? Wade Millman. Or do I go with somebody else? There's a goalie, Johnny Grant. I don't think this guy's a real player. Ooh. 2-year ETA in the second round is intriguing. He could also be like a fringe starter, but 2 years out. we could use a goalie prospect, so Johnny Grant's going to be our pick here. Why not? Why not? And how good was he? Because I have to go back. So annoying. A lot of generated crap, it looks like. Let's see. High backup. Damn, I was hoping he'd be better than that, but a high backup is okay. 71 overall at 18 is really good, though. He is also AHL eligible, so I honestly might give him his ELC right away. Because if he's playing with a really stacked AHL team, he should do well. Yeah, that's actually not a bad pick. Like, he might be able to outgrow that potential quite a bit, too. Like, he's very balanced in terms of goaltending. Like, I don't know what makes a good goalie in franchise mode, but very good with the reflexes, very solid with the puck control. Like, his passing's solid. His athleticism's pretty good. Like, his main weakness, what's his lowest attribute? Is his poise. After that, not really one. Everything's like 78, 79. So that's a really solid pick. Hopefully he outgrows his potential and doesn't stay as that overall, because that would kind of suck. Okay, let's see if we can find any steals here. Oh my goodness. Bottom 6 is supposed to go in this round is not ideal. Yeah, this is a very bad draft. I honestly might auto-sim this draft at this point, because there's a medium AHL top 6 supposed to go in. We're in round 3. This guy's supposed to go early 4th round as an AHL top 6 forward. Holy crap. Okay, well, we might as well just go for this guy since he's bottom 6. At this point, I might just auto-sim the rest of this because this is not looking too good. How good was Higgins? I'll just use this screen instead. He was a medium bottom 6. I wish they would show what overall he was on this part of the screen because I don't want to have to constantly go back. I definitely need to keep mentioning that to EA that they need to put that type of thing down there. Because just having to go back just doesn't make sense. He is a 56 overall grinder. Interesting. Yeah, I might auto-sim the rest of his draft depending on what's going at this point. Yep, there's AHL top 6s, AHL top 2s. This is the lowest rated draft class I've ever seen. This is on medium, I think, for draft class quality. So this might be one of the worst drafts I've ever seen in terms of generated prospects and stuff. Holy crap, man. Like, what could I get at this point? Any AHL top 2? No, thank you. This almost looks like the draft classes in my custom rosters at first when I wasn't able to make so many players because it would just drop off a lot. This guy has no weakness. I will take that since he's got no weakness, but he's probably trash. Let's see. He was actually medium bottom 6 as well. Okay, that's not bad. I'll take that. I won't even look at his overall right now because I don't even care at this point. Let's see. Can we find some crazy steals here? Let's look through everybody's attributes, see if there's anybody with like B's and stuff that might go like undrafted. Granlund might have some offensive skill. But ooh, okay. Julius Sumpf. He might be a real player based on that name because I don't think I've ever seen that generated name. Sumpf might be interesting. We'll pin him. He's 20 years old. I think he's probably a real guy because he's a German playing in the CHL as well. Ooh, maybe an A there. Jack Greenwell. He's probably real as well. Oh boy, yeah, this class is not looking too good. Not looking too good. I think I might just auto-sim the rest of this. So yeah, let's just auto-sim the rest of this draft class because at this point, there's not really anything here. Yeah, see, we got a 7th D in the AHL top 6 after that with Alexandrov in E tier. But in general, not a great draft. I mean, at least we got Cam, who's a top 6, but the rest of the draft was absolute trash. Okay, Resign Stage. This is where it's going to get fun. Obviously, we won't do free agency till next episode. But let's re-sign our head coach, obviously, considering he just won us a Stanley Cup. We'll hold on to him for now. But at some point, we might have to fire him, depending on if our team goes through a rebuild soon or not. And then yeah, we'll also bring back our associate coach as well, if he wants to resign, that is, because maybe he wants a head coaching job somewhere. Okay, hopefully those guys accept. And we also have a buttload of scouts to bring back. Oh boy. We could look to replace our scouts, actually. Let me actually write down some of the scouts things. Like, I don't like having to do this while I'm actually recording, but I am going to write down what scouts I'm letting go of, so that way we could potentially bring in some new scouts this offseason, because our scouts haven't done the best job, and if we go into a rebuild, obviously we want to have good scouts. So we need USA East, we need Extra Liga, and we need QMJHL, USA West as well. We need Russia, I think. Wait. Yeah, because we're going to let go of a lot of these people, even if their contracts aren't over. I honestly could just get rid of every scout here instead. Maybe I'll just write down the low-rated ones for now. SHL and the Liga. Because I'm going to get rid of every C-rated scout here. So let's fire all these guys, and we'll find some new ones this offseason to replace all these ones, because I think the B- ones might be okay, but I honestly could just replace every single one of them. That might not be a bad option, but there might be some just normal C's out there too, so I think I'll just fire the low rated ones for now and hold on to the rest of these ones. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. I don't know if I have to re-sign any of those ones actually still too. Let me stop the sim. And let's go to the scouting stuff again. I don't know if I have to actually offer contracts to some of these guys still. Yeah, I do. So we'll offer some contracts to the ones that are up for renewal that we still have, that have better potentials, or better overalls, I should say. And then we will obviously look to replace some of our scouts in next episode. Don't let me forget about that, because or else we're not going to have a good draft next year. And next year's draft could be important depending on how this team is doing at that point in time. But I think we probably could make it back to the playoffs, but at the same time, who really knows? Who really knows with the sim engine these days? Especially after recording my last Halifax episode, I really don't know what makes a playoff team and what doesn't. Okay, Resign Stage. Let's get to this. Let's go back to Saturn Otaku's comment so I could see who he was saying to let go and who not to. Because I'm going to basically do exactly what he was saying. So, in terms of our goaltending first, actually let's qualify both these guys or give them two-way deals. I'm okay with that, I think. Actually, wait a sec. Let me go to main roster. We are going to be letting go of Brossoit probably. Salmonen could be an NHL backup, I guess, and then we could technically run Milic and Grant in the AHL for a year. Yeah, I'm going to let go of Brossoit, I think, and then we will give Grant his ELC to play with Milic. Salmonen might be our backup. We might honestly just flip him away to get a better backup goaltender. But, yeah, we will bring back Salmonen on a two-way deal. And we will also bring back Milic on a two-way deal. Let's go with a one-year deal for now. And we will go to unsigned and sign ourselves Mr. Grant here to his ELC. And we will go to UFAs. And yeah, Laurent Brossoit is going to go. Even though he's a good backup goaltender, he doesn't actually want a lot. $775,000 for an 82 is really good. But does that mean he's going to drop off? He was nowhere near as good this regular season as he was last year. Playoff-wise, he got completely crapped on in a few minutes of ice time. Do I want to replace Brossoit? I'm going to let him go for now. I might bring him back, but right now he's going to be gone. Kind of funny that Hellbuck lost morale for losing our backup. Let's go to defense here. Nick Hague, he was saying to probably see what he wants on a longer-term deal. Because you have 1 year, he wants to be a UFA. So if we gave him a 5-year deal at like $4 million, that might work. I don't mind that. It takes him till he's 31. He shouldn't drop off fully by then. Yeah, 5x4 is fine with me. I think that's a good deal for him. We will also give our other AHL defenders some two-way deals for now until we get more prospects in. Dylan Sandberg, he's an RFA. He wants a two-way as well. That's actually fine with me as well. Might as well at that point. Nobody on the right wing side. He was saying to let go of Morgan Barron. What is Morgan Barron wanting? Not really a ton. He wouldn't be bad, but at the same time, we do have like guys like Chaz Lucius and Lambert who could get up to the NHL. So I don't think we're going to send a qualifying offer to Morgan Barron, so I'll leave that for now, though. Vesalainen coming back for the AHL for a year is okay. Same with Torgerson, because eventually they'll get replaced by younger prospects. Bon Giovanni, I'm going to let him walk, I think. Yeah. Nick Kanan, what do you want? Two-way deal, we'll do that. And then Kupari's going to get qualified. Same with Velarde, because Velarde wants 3.8. He's got still one more year for RFA status, which is good. Yeah, he's not going to develop much more, but we are going to just give him a qualifying offer. And then David Gustafsson, I will give you the 1-year deal at what you're asking for 2 years. That should be fine. Okay, UFA-wise, what do we got here? So all the older guys like Christian Reichel, for example, are going to be gone. Don't really need them at this stage. Connor Levi, or Levis, I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's Levi, could come into the AHL. Julian, I guess I could give some of these guys ELCs at this stage. Might as well just get as much prospects in as possible. We'll also let go of another veteran like Tony Nato, because don't really need him. I'll come back to those guys since those guys are key people. Capo Bianco, he's going to be gone. I don't want to give him a one-way deal right now, so he's going to be gone as well. Okay, so we still have a bunch of UFAs to give contracts to, and yeah, we're probably going to let go of Morgan Barron. So UFA-wise, let's start from the bottom, because, you know, we're Drake here. We start from the bottom, now we're here. Janssen Fialbi. Do I want to keep him as a depth option? He's been actually a really serviceable depth forward. 5 points in the last 3 games as a depth forward. He's only 27 as well. That's not bad. What does he want? He wants a 2-way deal. You know what? You got it. You got it, Axel. You'll be our depth option potentially in the NHL. Jan Ruda. He was saying to bring him back. It's a bit pricey for somebody like Jan Ruda as a top 6 defenseman, considering he might drop off too. But I do like Jan Ruda, obviously, after his playoff performance. What if I offered you $2 million instead of 2.1? Actually, I'm gonna try and get him for a little bit less than 2 million. 1950. I feel like that would be better. We'll see if Ruda accepts that. Mason Appleton, he was saying to let go of. Yeah, I think we need to make some room up for some younger guys. So Mason Appleton, best of luck to you in free agency. Thank you for your service in our cup win. And then he was saying to also let go of Iafallo and Ehlers and to bring back Tanev if he wants less than what he currently was making, and Barabanov as well. What is Tanev wanting? He wants more than he wanted last time. That's not ideal. I think he was getting paid like $4 million last time. Now he wants 5.3 at the age of 35. Now that's not ideal. I'll have to take a look at our cap situation. I'm going to hold on to him for now, but I think I might honestly have to drop him to free agency and then see if that asking price drops. He is a top 4 defenseman, so I guess he's kind of wanting to get paid like one. Barabanov at 3.8 is not bad. He is 31. We got to be worried about that. Also, I just realized how poorly cut out his hair is in this game. I mean, I'm not really that good at either at cutting out hair in Photoshop, but I might have to do a zoom into this part of the of his face, because his hair looks really trash in one of these corners. He does have really crazy hair, so I can see why it would be tough, but man, that looks really rough around the edges. Let's see. Let's give him the 1-year deal at 3.7. He's pretty solid. And yeah, we'll probably advance today and see if all these guys accept first before moving forward with other contracts. So our coaches are both back. That's nice to see. We'll go through this quickly. Most of these guys should be accepting. Let's see. Yep, everybody accepted on the RFA front. Morgan Barron's likely gone. Barabanov didn't accept. That's the one contract that did not get accepted. Okay. What if I gave you the $4 million again, Barabanov? And then Jan Ruda didn't accept the 1950. Would you accept to 2050? A little bit more. But yeah, I think Tanev, Iafallo, and Ehlers are all going to be gone, which is a pretty big blow to say, to be honest. But I don't think I could afford giving Tanev 5.3. I mean, there might be better options in free agency too. Iafallo is not really asking for too much as an 84, but we could also look for better options out there in the offseason. And then Nick Ehlers being the tough one. He wants a 4-year deal now, which is not as bad considering what he does. What does he bring to the table offensively? I don't remember exactly. 76 points, 70 points. Yeah, I don't really know if I want to give him that much money. He does want an extension, which is interesting. If I gave him like a 1-year deal at like 7.9, I don't think I could get that. Maybe I could get him for 1 year at 7.9. But it does eat a big chunk of our cap space. So let's wait on Barabanov and Ruda first. See if those guys accept. Looks like Barabanov did accept, which is nice. As we got some scouts accepting, which is nice. But we don't care about them as much. Ruda did not accept again. Seems like Ruda wants to be signed for the 2 years. Let's give him the 2.1 for 1 year instead of the 2 years. That would drop us down to 25 million in cap space. Yeah, I think we gotta let go of all 3 of these guys here because Ehlers would take a big chunk of it. I mean, we could get him on a 1-year deal at 7, but do we need him? Probably. I don't really know. I'm trying to think about our lineup situation. Because right now, let's see, we'd have Scheifele, Perfetti in our top 6, maybe Velarde as well. We'd have Kyle Connor, who I think is more important to bring back than Nick Ehlers. We'd have Barabanov probably in our top 6. We could definitely use somebody like Nick Ehlers for 1 more year. And then we can make a decision next offseason between Ehlers and Connor. But I think I want to have Kyle Connor here long term. Potentially, based on his playoff performance. I don't think I could give Ehlers a contract right now. I might sign him next episode, but for now we're going to let Nick Ehlers walk to free agency. I know a lot of you Jets fans might not like this, but we're going to let him go for now. We could bring him back next episode, so I'll let him go. Thank you, Nick, for your service. We're also going to let go of Iafallo. Thank you for your service as well. And Chris Tanev, we are also going to let you go because you're asking for a lot of money right now. I'm just hoping that you drop your asking price in the offseason, but Jan Ruda is the only one that's getting an extension here. I could still bring back Barron. I feel like Barron wouldn't be a bad option based on the fact that he doesn't want too much. It's a very cheap option for like a depth forward. I don't think he's listed as a 4th liner, is he? He's listed as a 3rd line checking forward. He wasn't good in the playoffs. And we're going to let him go. We're going to let him go. We got to find some new players on our team. Might be a little bit weird to do after a Stanley Cup win to let go of a lot of guys like that, but we got to find ways to start kind of tearing it down a little bit with this team. Not too much, but not too little either, in a sense. Okay, all those scouts accepting. Jan Ruda still wants to test the free agent market. Come on, Jan. What if I gave you more than what you're asking for a year? Let's do 2.3 for a year. I know it's an overpayment, but we will hold on to Jan Ruda if he wants to. He says he's resigned. Let's go. Okay, $26 million in cap space. And some of it's going to be spent on Velarde and Kupari. Kupari is just over $1 million. Velarde is over around 3.8. So we're looking at like 4.8, maybe 5 million in terms of potential RFAs, which means we'll be down to 21 million in cap space to spend in free agents around. That's not bad. That's not bad. Like I said, we could always bring back Nick Ehlers, but let's advance to free agency and see what is out there. We'll also look at the trading block in case there's any trades that you guys think would make sense for this team. Okay, starting off with the free agents. What is out there? We could use a backup goalie if we do not want Salmonen. Let's go to goalies. Whew. Jeez. We don't need Igor, though, considering we have Hellebuck. But, man, Igor Shesterkin's heading to free agency. Linus Ullmark, Freddie Anderson. God damn. A lot of good goalies. But if we're looking at backups, you got, like, Capo Kakinen. How good has he been? 884. That's not very good. Aiden Hill on an 894. Francouz on a 904. There's some decent backups out there for sure. Blackwood. Anton Forsberg's not bad either. But coming off an 898 isn't ideal. Brian Elliott at the age of 40. Goddamn. Yeah, we do have a lot of backup options out there. Some younger ones too, actually, like Soderblom, who's a UFA at 25. Coming off a 919 in the AHL. Didn't do good in the AHL playoffs, though. Jonathan Quick is still out there, kind of crazy. Makiniemi. There's a lot of goalies that could be in the backup role because EA overrates goalies a lot. Some of the 79s though are listed as minor starting goalies, which is interesting. So there's the UFA goalies defensively. What do we got? Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman. The thing is, he's a top 2 defenseman. I don't know if I would work with Morrissey, but man, there's some good defenders out there too. So I'm kind of glad we can let go of Tanev for now. Because, I mean, Jeff Petrie is decent, but he's probably going to drop off soon. Ivan Provorov, I don't like that guy, though. A little bit. Adam Larson, as a right-handed defenseman, that's not a bad player. He's 32. He could be an upgrade from Tanev, technically. But he does want more money, and he has interest from other teams. There's nobody interested in Victor Hedman right now. He is 34, coming off back-to-back 56-point seasons. Could be an intriguing player to bring in, but I honestly don't know if it's something we actually drastically need. I feel like we need maybe more offensive players. But there's a lot of good defenders out there, like Gavrikov, for example. A lot of old guys, too. So if you guys see anybody intriguing on the defensive side of things for us to bring in, let me know. Wasn't Knizhov the defenseman I traded, or no? No, he wasn't. It was Kniziov, I think. It's a different spelling. Tobias Bjornfot didn't get a qualifying offer from the LA Kings. That's not a bad one. Only 24 years of age. Coming off a -12 season. He has not been great defensively, but he does bring some offense. Bjornfot could be interesting, but I don't really know for sure. If we wanted to get younger on our team. Logan Stanley went to free agency after his time in Vegas. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of solid players out there for defensemen. What about forward-wise? Cam Atkinson. Hey, we could bring in my favorite player if we want to. He did jump up to an 87 overall, but wants $7 million. What did he do last year? 76 points, coming off a 30-goal season, so I can kind of see why he wants to get paid, but also with him being 36, he's likely going to be on the decline soon. Because I do normally see him retire quite early on, but he's a really good player. I really like him, obviously, in real life. Eberle's up there as well. Victor Arvidsson. A lot of old guys this free agent group, it seems like. Radish, 27 years old. Not bad. Might be an okay third liner if we want to bring in somebody like that. Phil Kessel's still hanging out. Christian Fisher. Yeah, there's a lot of decent players in this free agent pool. I like it. Keegan Kolesar as a fourth line grinder is not bad. Sokolov's back in free agency again. Spent last year in the AHL for Utica. It's interesting. Left wing wise, what do we got? Nick Ehlers, obviously. Nobody's interested in Nick Ehlers, so we could bring him back. But there's also guys like Kuzmenko, who's the same age. Robbie Fabry, who's obviously, in real life, he's really injury prone. David Perron, Taylor Hall. Yeah, this is a good group of free agents. Noah Cates. Noah Cates is not bad either. He would be almost like the exact same type of thing as Morgan Barron is, but he wants more money. That's the only thing. Tanner Jeannot heading to free agency. Didn't he sign a long-term deal, though, with Tampa in real life? Because I'm curious if he got bought out. Because I thought he signed a long-term deal with Tampa in real life. I got to take a look at that right now. Because I'm honestly really curious of how he's a free agent. I feel like he signed a deal with Tampa long-term. But maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of Hagel. Jeannot. No, he is a 2 years until UFA. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Had to double check that because if he was heading to free agency early, he could have been bought out, but he wasn't. Okay, right wing wise and left wing wise is done. Center wise, there is Sam Bennett. That's a pretty good player to bring in. Jonathan Toews, I don't want to bring him to Winnipeg, even though Winnipeg's his home city. No, thank you. Don't want a captain like that, or a guy that was a captain like that. 25-year-old Ryan McLeod's not bad either. Like, if we wanted to bring in some young kind of guys, there is definitely some out there. So there is all the free agents. Well, not all of them, but a good chunk of them. Stuff we could bring in as depth options, that type of thing. Kurashev is even there. That's not bad. He only wants 775K. Coming off a really good year in the AHL, where he was point per game. Not too bad at all. We could have claimed him on waivers, though, like a year ago, I think. Or I think it was in year 1. Final thing, the trading block. What do we got? What do we got for potential trade assets? Heg, Pissick, Perot, Nestorenko, and Kerry Terrence. Michelli's on the block. Okay. Okay, that's actually a really intriguing one. I believe he's a pending RFA. In real life, Matias Michelli is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players in the league at the moment. Michelli's intriguing. He is very intriguing. Like, he could be a replacement for Nick Ehlers almost. You also had Nick Schmaltz, Kevin LeBlanc, Max Pacioretty, Lawson Krause. I do really like Michelli. That might be a good thing to trade for, but I don't know what we'd have to give up to get Michelli. What else we got here? Skinner, with 2 years left still at his $9 million. Victor Olofsson's on the block. Alex Tuck. Hey, there's a lot of good players on the block as well. We might be in for an interesting offseason and a completely different looking team almost in a sense. We don't want to sign anybody too long term though, because I think we want to kind of bring back Kyle Connor for a good deal next offseason. So we probably want to take somebody that's on like a expiring deal if we can. But yeah, if you guys see anything that intrigues you, let me know. Just make sure it's somebody that would actually fit our roster properly, like somebody that could fit in on a third line or fourth line. Maybe even a top 6 forward, and also doesn't strap us down cap-wise, because the AI doesn't usually like to retain on salary caps, so most of the time we actually have to take whatever they're making. Anze Kopitar with 1 year left. Adrian Kempe with 1 year left. Same with, actually, Fiala's on 4 years left. Tano on 2 years. Imagine bringing Kopitar and Kempe to Winnipeg as well. Like, we literally already have Velarde. Like, we literally turn into like the Winnipeg Kings at that point. But yeah, Adrian Kempe is kind of intriguing, being 28 only. What position does he play? Center. Trying to think if that's actually a useful spot for us. I mean, we could move out guys like Adam Lowry, but he is our captain. Zuccarello, Eriksson Neck, Johansson, Foligno, Goudreau. Yeah, there's a lot of good players. And we definitely can make some intriguing noise this offseason for sure, which is good. Because I was kind of worried that there wouldn't be a lot in free agency and there wouldn't be really anything on the block. But seems like there definitely is options out there. Chris Kreider too. 34 years old though at this point. Robbie Urventi. There is some future type of guys as well. But I think we want to kind of still win another Stanley Cup potentially. Like at least go for one more run. But I mean, if we bring in somebody like... I don't know, Chris Letang, for example, and then we end up just like not playing good, we could easily flip him and get a lot for him in the offseason, or not in the offseason, at the trade deadline. Sam Reinhart has a very big contract, so I wouldn't be really interested in him, to be honest. Brandon Saad on 1 year left, Logan Couture on 2 years, Hurdle on 5 years. Jeez, some bad contracts there. Tolvanen's an RFA right now. Trading for his rights might not be bad. I don't know how strapped Seattle is cap-wise, but he might be intriguing. Braden Shen, but he's pretty old. Jurenko. Yeah, this is going to be a fun offseason. John Tavares on 1 year left, only making 4.44, so he must have signed a 1 year extension relatively cheap. Yarncrow, Camp. Anything else interesting? Some more prospects. Chandler Stevenson. We did just beat this team in the playoffs, but they have some of their good players on the block like Pietrangelo and Whitecloud. Whitecloud on his contract is really not that bad. He would be a good replacement. Is he right-handed? He is. He'd be a perfect replacement, I think, for what's his name? For Tanev. Younger option. Yeah, he's like a younger Tanev in a sense. Not as good defensively, maybe, but I just don't know what it would cost to get somebody like Zach Whitecloud. That would be intriguing. But him, Michelli, there's some good trade options for sure. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to free agency. We'll think about if there's any players to sign in free agency. We'll think if there's any players to trade for as well, and kind of restructure our team a little bit and see how good this team does next season. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.